Hello, let me ask you, how good are you at managing your own money? Well, in this video, we are learning how to manage money using this book, Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And we've been doing this for a while. This is video number 40. Sounds interesting? Join me. Hello, welcome to Take a Step a Better You. In this video, we are continuing to learn from the book Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, and we are learning how to manage money better, and also in some areas how to make the money. And if you are new, my name is Sherifa, Nakalema. I'm a business owner here in Virginia, USA. And on this channel, I share business tips, YouTube tips, and money online tips through affiliate marketing, motivation. I like to motivate you to take a step to make your life better. And now I have these books. This is a great one, Rich Dad Poor Dad. And this video is about this book. And we are on video number 40. Please consider subscribing and sharing, and please leave a comment. And for those of you who have already decided that you have a good message on this channel, appreciate you very much for getting back. And for you, I'll ask that please like, and the new ones also you may like later. I don't have to force you to like, but the ones who are coming back, please like the video so we'll get those numbers. The 50, we're not there yet. 50 likes before the next video comes up. If I said 50 likes for 12 hours, maybe that was too much to get to. So sort of changing it a little bit. Let's make sure we have 50 likes on a previous video before another one comes. On this channel, I have a schedule which I'm going to show up there. It's daily, 11:30 a.m. US Eastern Time, 11 a.m. daily US Eastern Time, and then 11:30 Thursdays only and Sundays. Thursdays, business tips, YouTube tips, Sunday, motivation. So it's a daily schedule, and on Friday it becomes a live. I come live, so come join me. Please check your local equivalent of USA Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Because I start 11 and then later 11:30. If it's a Thursday and if it's a Sunday. For those of you who are interested in getting this book, I'll share at the end of the video. And for those of you who want to know where we started, all those other videos I'll still share at the end. Now, as I promised, for those of you who are coming back, this is video number 40. We ended lesson number 5. The book has 6 lessons and 6 chapters. We finished 5 chapters, 5 lessons, and at this point, that's when I review. I read all of them, the ones we finished. So, number 1, chapter 1 had lesson number 1, which was the rich don't work for money. Number 2 had why teach financial literacy. Number 3 had mind your own business. Number 4 had the history of taxes and the power of corporation. Number 5 was the rich invent money. Today, number 6 is work to learn, don't work for money. Work to learn, don't work for money. But before I start that, the new topic, we're going to, Robert has questions always at the end of the chapter. So I'm going to read those questions to you. They are meant for you, the reader. You know, I'm reading on your behalf. And then, before I continue, I always like to review, to remind people, especially the new ones, who is Robert? For those of you who've been watching all these videos, you know who Robert is. I think you can even define it, like as I'm about to say, what I'm about to say about Robert, right? Robert is a self-made millionaire. Robert is the one who wrote the book, Robert Kiyosaki. A self-made millionaire, entrepreneur, educator, investor. And when you see me reading, it means I got it from the book. He has a mission to elevate the financial well-being of humanity, starting with one life and one person at a time. That person could be you, or me, or anyone. And he named it Rich Dad Poor Dad, the book, because of the 2 dads he says he has. One is Poor Dad, is his real dad, who was a very intelligent man, finished 4 years of college in 2 years, with scholarship and all that, all the good stuff. He had a PhD, was a student of education, but ended up dying broke. The money management. That's what we are learning. And then the rich dad was just a friend. Robert had a friend, Mike, since 9 years old. So the dad, that Mike's dad, is where the lessons came from. And this was a unique individual because he left school at age 13, eighth grade, ended up being one of the wealthiest men in Hawaii. So Robert learned from him and he shares the lesson in this book. Now, 39, the questions that I'm going to be serious stuff. Remember I said we have to read the questions that Robert put at the end of 39. Then after that, we'll start a new lesson. He has 6 questions for you. So please, hopefully I can read very clearly. The first question for the reader. The question says, Robert says that it is not so much the lack of technical information that holds us back, but more the lack of self-confidence. What is an example in your life of someone, or an example in your life or someone else's, where self-doubt got in the way of a great opportunity? You have when you are not confident enough and lost an opportunity. You have an example in your life. And then number 2, some people have a lot of money but do not get ahead financially. Why is that? What do you think? Number 3, as you have developed your own financial intelligence, how has it helped you see more easily whether a deal is good? Number 4, Robert's philosophy is to plant seed inside his asset column, starting small and seeing what grows. How are you planting seeds in your asset column right now? If you haven't, if you are not, what could you do to be able to start? Remember, we are supposed to all be thinking about assets. So she's asking, have you started? Do you have any? Number 5, Robert lists 2 kinds of investors: those who buy package investments and those who create investments. We did that in the previous video. For example, the computer, the one who just picked out a computer, and the other one who takes pieces and creates a computer. So which kind are you? Is that the kind you want to be? Number 6, how have you seen fear of failure play out in your life? And how did it prevent you from taking advantages or advantage of opportunities? What can you do to conquer that fear in the future? That's the end of the questions. 6 questions now. We officially just ended chapter 5. We are starting chapter 6. Because I'm just reading, you can always review the video. You can always go backwards. Those things, some of them, I wish you took notes, hopefully. Because if you took notes, you'll have a notebook full of notes. Then you just go through. These are important things. Okay, lesson 6. Work to learn, don't work for money. Work to learn, don't work for money. And you have the subheading that says, job security meant everything to my educated dad. Learning meant everything to my rich dad. I'm going to repeat that because it's talking about the difference in the 2 dads. Where are you? Job security meant everything to my educated dad, and that's his real dad. But learning meant everything to my rich dad. I would go with number 2. I would go with the rich dad. Okay, a few years ago, he's starting now the story. I won't read too much, but I marked already where we're going to end. A few years ago, I granted an interview. Please follow this story because there is something to learn. And I'll also say something about it. This story that he's giving, I think all of us will learn from it. Starting again. A few years ago, I granted an interview with a newspaper in Singapore. The young female reporter was on time, and the interview got underway immediately. We sat in the lobby of a luxurious hotel, sipping coffee and discussing the purpose of my visit to Singapore. I was to share the platform with Zig Ziglar, he was speaking on motivation, and I was speaking on the secrets of the rich. Someday, someone said, someday I would like to be a best-selling author like you. The reporter said, she said, I had seen some of the articles she had written for the paper, and I was impressed. This is Robert saying now. She had a tough, clear style of writing. Her articles held a reader's interest. So now Robert is responding. You have a great style, I said in reply. What holds you back from achieving your dream? I mean, the dream of being an author. Now the reporter is responding. My work does not seem to go anywhere, she said quietly. Everyone said that my novels are excellent, but nothing happens. So I keep my job with the paper. At least it pays my bills, pays the bills. Do you have any suggestions? She was asking Robert. Yes, I do, I said brightly. A friend of mine here in Singapore runs a school that trains people to sell. He runs sales training courses for many of the top corporations here in Singapore. And I think attending one of his courses would greatly enhance your career. She stiffened. Are you saying I should go to school to learn to sell? Robert nodded. I nodded. You aren't serious, are you? Again, I nodded. What's wrong with that? I was now backpedaling. She was offended by something, and she was offended by something, and now I was wishing I had not said anything. In my attempt to be helpful, I found myself defending my suggestions. The lady was offended by asking her to go learn how to sell. So the reporter said to me, I have a master's degree in English literature. Why would I go to school to learn to be a salesperson? I'm a professional. I went to school to be trained in a profession, so I would not have to be a salesperson. I hate salespeople. All they want is money. Tell me why I should study sales. She was packing her briefcase. The interview was over. The lady was very unhappy. On the coffee table sat a copy. Now Robert is writing. On a coffee table sat a copy of an earlier best-selling book I wrote. I picked it up, as well as the notes she had jotted down on her legal pad. Do you see this? I said, pointing to her notes. She looked down at her notes. What? She said, confused. Again, I pointed deliberately to her notes. On her pad, she had written, Robert Kiyosaki, best-selling author. I hope you're following this. So Robert was showing her notes. She had written, Robert Kiyosaki, best-selling author. It says best-selling author, not best-writing author. I said quietly. So she was trying to show, Robert was trying to show her the difference between a best-selling author and best writing, because for her, she thought writing was more important, knowing how to write. So her eyes widened. I'm a terrible writer. Okay, her eyes widened. Okay, Robert, let me go backward a little bit. Robert said to her that it says best-selling author, not best writing author. I said quietly to her. And then her eyes widened. I'm a terrible writer, I said. You are a great writer. I went to sales school. You have a master's degree. Put them together and you get a best-selling author and a best writing author. I think he was suggesting like a partnership between the two to use the skill to create that book she wanted to do, to sell her books. I finished that. Anger flared in her eyes. I'll never stoop so low as to learn how to sell. People like you have no business writing. I'm a professionally trained writer, and you are a salesman. It is not fair. She fumed. You see, she was really, really mad. She didn't like to be told about like salespeople. She didn't like salespeople. Okay. Anger fled in her eyes. I'll never stoop so low. Oh, I said that already. I don't know what's going on with me today. I'm sorry. I went backwards. So because I keep looking up, then I go to the wrong place. Okay, she put the rest of her notes away and hurried out through the large glass doors into the humid Singapore morning. At least she gave me a fair and favorable write-up the next morning. The world is filled with smart. Now Robert is saying the lady left. She left. She was mad. She didn't want to be told about selling and learning how to sell. So now Robert is writing. The world is filled with smart, talented, educated, and gifted people. We meet them every day. They are all around us. This is the end where I'm ending the reading, but there is a lesson in that story. The lesson is, and now I'm using my own words. Today, Robert doesn't have any notes yet. The notes will come later. I'm using my own words. What I understand about that. Robert was suggesting to the lady that she needs to learn how to sell, but she was offended because she saw selling as learning to sell as something very low. I don't know. When I read, I like to read a lot. And experts say, whatever you do, you have to learn how to sell. Now, what is selling? I looked at the dictionary. What does it mean? It said, so for selling, you have to be a person. In fact, I interpreted it and used my own words here after I checked it out in the dictionary. You have to know, it's like to persuade. Because a salesperson persuades, influences, and convinces. You convince the people. And they say that whether you are a parent, whatever role you are in, if you want to be successful at whatever you do, you have to know how to sell. Because it's convincing, you could be convincing your child. You could be husband and wife, husband convincing wife, husband convincing wife, or wife of the other way around. That's selling. Not like selling doesn't mean you have to be selling. Give me money, I give you something. It's the way you speak. You have to know how to learn to be and influence people, to convince people, to persuade people. That's selling. So that's what Robert was suggesting to the lady, that she needs to learn how to sell, but she didn't like it. She thought that was so low. The reason I'm mentioning at this point is I wanted to agree with Robert that for anyone to be successful, you have to learn how to sell. Whether if you are an employer, you have to know how to sell whatever the ideas, your employees, to convince them that whatever you are, in fact, it's convincing, but in a good way. So that when you talk to someone, they agree to do whatever you're trying to influence them to do in a good way. That's selling. You could be talking to your partners, you could be talking to your suppliers or customers. It doesn't matter, but it's called selling. So we all have to know how to sell. Okay? That's the end of this video. That's the end of the reading. And hopefully it won't be too long. We started on the last chapter and the last lesson. And soon you're going to hear me saying more and more. Please give feedback. Those who want to record a short video, 2-3 minutes about what you learned from this book, please put a comment if you are interested. So we will start recording and getting some feedback for the last video. When we are about to finish this lesson, I'm going to ask for videos. Then I record the very, very last video about this book, and that will have. I want to have all of you, if you want, just 2-3 minutes videos. You can create a long one, 10 people, 30. We could make it like 2 minutes. Have many people. Just talking about lessons learned. Okay. For those of you who are interested in getting this book, I have a link. In fact, I'm going to start talking about just one link because I mentioned here and there and there. One link. The top link in the link in the top comment. What I do, I put a link in the comment section and I make sure it's a pinned comment. It's on top. So find a link that takes you to my through my website, honestsoul.com, and you're going to click on podcast and Audible. Go to Amazon and fill out, put your name if you want to get it for free. Audible. You have to put your name and email and all that. And then you make sure you are choosing Audible Premium Plus. They'll give you a free 3 months Audible audio to listen. And if you want to buy it, that same link, you look a little bit below, especially if you're on a cell phone, the books will be like at the bottom. Find it and just go buy. That's not free. You have to buy. And then for those who want to know all those videos we finished, this is number 40, 1 up to 39. Still, that same pinned comment. From now on, I'm going to be talking about just that comment, because I'm trying to reduce the words I say here. And again, the schedule here. The schedule, please, 11, always come. If you care about this channel, please come at 11 a.m. for the premiere of these books. And mostly on Sunday. The Thursday one is normally for people interested in business and those YouTube tips. So for if you watch books, I would say please come to books 11 a.m. every day, and come to the live on Friday 11 a.m. still, and then on Sunday come both. One will come, the books will start, and then the motivation. I want you to hear what I call my motivational video, because there is a lot to learn. Like the next Sunday, I'll be talking about how to achieve those goals that we set, those big goals. How do we achieve them? What do we need to do? That will be my next motivation. Please like, check it. Did you like? By the way, I'm not talking about subscribing anymore. I'm assuming you're going to subscribe if you like, right? Subscribe is still a good thing. And click on the notification bell so you know when these videos are coming out. I'm not sharing them intentionally because I want to see who comes using a notification, so we can decide if you're going to read another book. I'm not sure yet. I want to see more people on the premieres and also more likes. Then it will be worth it. Okay? Share the videos. Please leave a comment. And do you want to record a video? 2 minutes? Just put in a comment. Yes to feedback. You want to give feedback? Then later I will decide how I'm going to collect those videos, those messages. Or it could be just a message in an email if you don't want to be on camera. Remember to add a comment and to share. Like I always end them, take very good care of yourself. Take very good care of your families. Take very good care of your health. Take a step to better you. Bye-bye.